Hey everybody, what's up? Mike Gross, rockinguitarlessons.com. Getting to some more questions from you guys, and I had an email. I don't remember when it was. It wasn't that long ago. About the question was, what things should a beginning guitarist be working on or starting with? And it really is a good question. I have tons of questions, and I have to kind of selectively pick them sometimes, especially with these questions. I think this is something that a lot of people need to know. So here's my opinion on it. And you guys know I've been teaching since the early 90s, and so I've got all those years of trying this and seeing what works. Some of it's common sense. You wouldn't want to be taking on like a Steve Vai thing if you've just had your guitar for a week. For some people, they may never want to take on a Steve Vai thing because he's just that good. But I kind of put this in two categories, because you had mentioned in your email like what songs you should be working on. So I was glad you mentioned that, because I think a lot of people get intimidated with the concept of playing a song and feel like it's so far, like it's just out of their league. That's something that you worry about years later. I totally 100% disagree. Because I was learning songs, my first month of playing, they didn't sound very good, but I was doing it. But the two categories, basically, I'll get to the songs in a second and explain a little bit about that. But I would say a good start point would be finger exercises. The thing with finger exercises, they're usually fun for the first week, because I know when my students at the studio here or at the store that I teach at, if I get a brand new student in, they all leave with at least one finger exercise. And because the idea is to build up your calluses, right? Oh, by the way, I wanted to say who asked the question. It was Dylan Rochete, R-O-C-H-T-E. I know I'm saying that wrong, dude. Sorry, but yeah, I wanted to give you a shout out. You're the one that asked the question, and I've had the question asked before. But if your fingers aren't calloused, and you say you get your guitar and you just like, okay, I like rock or metal, and I'm just gonna do play a power chord. If you had a buddy that showed you it, and just do that stuff, it's okay, but it's kind of putting the cart before the horse in a sense. You can work on that, but in the same thing, you should be working on finger exercises, because we got to get the calluses built up on all four of these fingers. You got to. And calluses, once you get them, the pain obviously is gone, but the pain's usually not too bad anyways, but it's definitely an inconvenience. The more you play, the quicker you'll get those fingertips calloused. All four, guys. Remember, don't leave this guy out. He gets his feelings hurt real easy. The pinky. But, prime example, I don't have a guitar in my hands, but hey, that's a first. No, actually it's not. I have a couple where I'm not holding a guitar. But I'll just explain it. If you go to the low E string, string 6, go to the first fret, first finger, push down on the tip of the finger. Then go to the second fret, second finger, third fret, third finger, and fourth fret with your pinky. Now, sounds simple enough, right? But not always the case. Sometimes I'll have students come back, they're reading it off the tab book, they hadn't memorized it, which is fine, because memorization comes with time. But they'll play it, and they'll use their first finger for all of it. And probably, I've asked students about it, it's like, because it's easier, or they just forgot, or whatever. But, finger 1 is usually the first finger to get calloused. It's involved in so much of your playing, but really, they all are. So that's the concept. Step 1, finger exercises. Using all four fingers, I would play things ascending and descending. The chromatic one that I was just talking about, the 1, 2, 3, 4, I would do that on all 6 strings. Then I would have you go ascending and then descending, and then do that on the next string. Or you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then go to the second fret and go 2, 3, 4, 5. The third fret, 3, 4, 5, 6. Work your way up to the 12th fret, and then work down the strings, and then back. Always find ways to make it more interesting, I guess is the best word, because they do get boring. It's exercises, How many times have you heard of someone, or you've done it yourself, you get a gym membership to whatever, Bally's or 24-hour fitness, and everyone's all, you're stoked about it, and you go for the first week, and then you start going less, and then you start going less, and you're still paying for it, and before you know it, you're going once a month. So you can get burnt out. So you got to find ways to keep it fresh, okay, is what I'm getting at. The next thing in this category would be working on the major chords and the minor chords. And I always start my students with the open position ones. It's all down involving open strings or between fret 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you have a chord book, it'll have them in there. If the chords are too difficult, which if you're a beginner, there's probably 2 in there that you will not get at first, and that's the F major and the B major. As a matter of fact, a lot of people just skip them because they're too hard for them. Don't skip them. What I suggest is when they're too difficult, you do what's called string or chord building, where you take 2 notes out of the chord and see if you can get them clear, then add the 3rd note, see if you can get that clear, the 4th note, see if you can get that clear, and so on. That's the way to approach those. Same way with the minor chords, all in the open position. And the next thing in this category, this would be the last one I'd say, would be scales. Scales and chords, believe it or not, are similar because chords are built out of scales. Like you have what's like a C major chord is based off the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th note of the scale. So a C major is a C note, an E note, and a G note. 1st, 3rd, and 5th note of that major scale, of the C major scale. So this isn't a theory thing, but I'm just throwing that at you. When you get into playing solos, you're using scales, but also you can look at scales like finger exercises because they're very similar and they involve multiple fingers. The cool thing with that finger exercise I was telling you about, though, is you're guaranteed to be using all 4 fingers. That's not always the case with the scales. With them scales, you can do the open position major scales, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then do the same thing with the minors, A minor, B minor, C minor, D minor, E minor, F minor, and G minor. And learn them in the open position, so you'll have your 14 major chords, or your 7 major chords and your 7 minor chords in the open position. And then the same thing with the accompanying scale, the major scale and the minor scales. Okay, not the major scale, scales. So you'll have the 7 chords with the 7 scales, the 7 minor chords with the 7 minor scales. So it's kind of how you look at it up in here. Music can be very much mental. It can make you mental too. What do you think my problem is? I'm nuts. I'm totally 100% certifiably, no, just kidding. But I eat, sleep, drink music. That's what my life is, and I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I love it. I'm doing what my passion is and what I enjoy. Okay, so on to the next. You had mentioned songs, and I like this part because it takes me back to the day. Why do you want to play guitar? What made you want to play guitar? Chances are, sometimes families got a guitar in the house laying around, or your dad had one, or your grandpa, and it just stayed in the family, and boom. But usually we're inspired, and at some point as a musician you will be inspired, or you won't be continuing the instrument. Why would you, right? By what you listen to and certain songs that stick out to you. So I'm going to give you and these are things I've used with my students. When you mention songs, you don't have to, if you're a beginner, don't be thinking complete songs, okay? You guys hear me talk about subgrouping a lot. Well, some of these, I want you to think of it that way. But let me give you, I think I wrote 4 down. 4 or 5 songs that I think would be good for the beginner guitarist. Now, these are all, rock metal things. But I can pick them for country and blues and all that. So the first one, and it's not in any particular order, I would say Green Day, Brain Stew. And even if you don't like Green Day, do it anyways. You got to learn to crawl before you can walk, and learn to walk before you can run. And this is some valuable information that one of my good buddies, when I was in high school from Yugoslavia, his name is Mike Omerbegovic, and a huge inspiration on me. And I remember him telling me, start with something, and I'm not going to list the band and the song, but he actually gave me this band, and then he said the whole album, but he wrote down the songs, he said, in order to work with. And he goes, and it wasn't that I hated the songs or whatever, It's just, I want to do Steve Vai. But I knew, okay, I would still try it, by the way. But, you know, get the solidity down. You know, back then it was albums and cassette tapes, so, you know, my goal would be to try and play along with it. Now, it may only be the intro or just the chorus, but that's okay, because then you establish that sense of timing, too. Which, if you jam with someone, another drummer, or you're in a band, timing becomes very, very important, you know, that you're on beat. Okay? So Green Day, Brain Stew, and it's a great one. I introduce my students to power chords using that song, which is da-na, 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 da-na. A really defined beat pops in your face. The guitar is really loud. It starts with just guitar, so you don't have to worry about drums or nothing, at least at the beginning. So I'd say start there. Another one would be Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train. And not the whole song, because we're talking Randy Rhoads. Everything that he did had touches of genius and a lot of technicality with a lot of the songs. But just the main part that sticks in your head, that and just keep repeating that and get comfortable. That one's kind of like a finger exercise, using fingers 1, 3, and 4. So that's a good one. If you want to put in the very beginning, which is actually bass, you can throw power chords on that, which ironically is the beat to the Green Day song. You know, if you picture Ozzy, dun 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 dun, it's pretty close. It's a similar beat. So that'd be a good one. What else do we got? Deep Purple, and you guys knew I was going to bring this one up. Smoke on the Water, man. Everybody's heard it. And just the intro part on it. Dun, 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 dun. That whole part. Simple, and they're power chords, but they're inverted power chords, which means they're on the same frets when you do them. Where, you know, standard power chords like this, you're skipping a fret in between. Like that. Try to play a power chord like that. I've done it. It's cool. What else? I think I had one more that I wrote down for you guys, and yes, I did. It's the Beatles' Day Tripper. I say that one not because I show every one of my private students that one. I've showed several, but it's single note oriented, has some pauses, some rests in it. It's not extremely fast. It's actually really not that fast at all. But when you first play it, you won't be able to keep up with it. You know, it's one of those things you got to work on and memorize. Once you've got something memorized, and that's another key point, things get faster when you don't have to look at your book, look at your fingers, look at the fretboard, look at your pick hand, make sure everything's right. And then by the time you do all that, you forget what you were just supposed to be doing, and you look back at the book. So when you're practicing, there's no pressure, right? There's nobody around you probably, so you don't have to be all freaked out over it. Just be patient. You got to be patient, and when you feel that patience going, probably a good idea to set it down, come back a couple hours later, or an hour later, or the next day sometimes. So, but I'm talking about the just that part, and then they change it to some different strings. So there's 4 songs right off the bat. There's more, you know. If you guys aren't really rock or metal guys, any of you, you know, I could, and you're a beginner, I can give you some examples of. You know, if country music's what you're into, or blues, or whatever, I can help you out. Just email me, mike@rockinguitarlessons.com. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/rockinguitarlessons1. That's this channel. And I also have youtube.com/rockinguitarlessons2, which is my In the Style of channel. And I have a few little odds and ends things on there too. If you're interested in private instruction, guitar and bass, I handle that. My amazing wife Jolene, beautiful wife Jolene, handles the vocals. They're $59 an hour, $34 for a half an hour. We work on whatever you want, and that's pretty much my primary way of teaching. You know, I'm still in one of my stores, and I love it there. I feel part of the family at that store. But yeah, the Skype lessons and the CVT lessons are just keeping me real busy. What else? What else? Payments. Most of my students pay through PayPal, which is safe and secure. I'm sure you've heard of PayPal before. If you're in another country, which I have a lot of students that are in other countries, they have the currency converter on there. It does the work for you, converts Canadian dollars to American dollars, or pounds, which is England, and that whole section over there. It does it for you, safe and secure. Some people do Western Union and MoneyGram, but most of them have access to Skype and just do the debit card thing. That email is tbxpunk@aol.com. That's the email you would use if you'd like to donate to this channel. And if you can't, don't worry about it. I love you. Keep coming. And we're going to wrap this one up. Make sure to subscribe. Tell your friends, your buddies, people in bands, people that, you know, some of you subscribers don't even play. You say you just like to come to the channel and check out what's going on. This channel's for you guys, all of you guys. And you don't have to be a musician to enjoy music, okay? But I highly suggest you learn. It's an amazing, amazing thing. Until next time, Mike Gross, rockinguitarlessons.com. By the way, go to rockinguitarlessons.com. The temp site, as of today, well, it's been this way for a few months, is there. But go fill out the contact information at rockinguitarlessons.com. That's what I require for you to make your requests and all that. But plus, why wouldn't you? It's going to update you on what the progress of the website and everything that's going on. So go do it. It'll only take you a couple seconds. And in the meantime, keep the questions coming, man. I'm liking these, and so are you guys. Was wondering how these would go over, but I'm digging this, man. The channel's really expanding out, and a lot of cool things happening. So I'm done. I'm going to go upload this for you guys, and then get some sleep, which is getting kind of rare around here. But music keeps me burning. We'll talk to you guys later. See ya.